Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be talking about different ways my husband has helped me cope, manage, deal with my mental illness. If you're new to my videos, I'm Vicky and I talk about my experiences with managing my bipolar disorder and OCD. In this video specifically, I'll be just talking about the different things that my partner does that really do help me, and I know that this is something that a lot of people have been asking for, just because even if you might not have a mental illness, so many of us know people who have a mental illness. I mean, I have one, so but so many people, so many of us know, love, care for those who might be going through mental health struggles, especially in this world where it's becoming more and more common for this to happen. And so kind of a little bit of a backstory. My husband and I have been together for almost 7 years, married 3. And whenever we first started dating, we were like 18, 19 years old, so we were babies. And I had a huge fear. I had a very, very big insecurity that I would never find love because of the mental illness that I had. I had recently been diagnosed a year or 2 years prior, and I just really thought, like, who would want to be with me? Like, there is so much wrong with me. Like, I have such big emotions. I deal with this. I take medications. Like, blah, blah, blah. You know, the brain just kind of piling up all these insecurities, all these things. And then I clearly found out that that was not true, that there was nothing wrong with me because I had a mental illness, that I am lovable because of who I am, and that we all go through things. All of us humans have something, whether it's a mental illness or something else, and that doesn't make us any less. And my husband really helped me see that whenever I couldn't see it. And so, you know, some of the things that like really helped at the beginning was that whenever I did share with him this stuff, which I was scared about, he said, you know, I might not really understand what exactly this means or what you're dealing with, but I'm here for you and I'm here to listen and learn. And I think that that was a great segue to what our relationship would be and how much he would support me. So just basing it on that, I remember like communication and honesty was super, super important from the beginning. And sharing this part of me, I shared it really early, was really important because, you know, it just was like, I'm a very honest person. I'm very upfront about who I am. I don't like to hide who I am. And at that moment, I was hiding it from the whole world. But I was like, if I, you know, want to do life with this person, I want to share this. So that kind of started it, and that really built the foundation for our relationship, not just with my mental illness, but just in general, which was communication. Communication was huge, not only with him, like, you know, being accepting, but me sharing as well. And you know, not only that, but at the beginning, like there were moments where I would, you know, have a panic attack or have a bipolar episode, and he didn't know how to deal with them. Rightfully so, because one, he's not a doctor and he had never gone through it. So it was like panic, freak out mode, right? Like, what do I do? Like, did I make you have this? Like, all this kind of stuff, kind of all these things are alarming. And so throughout time, we had to have those conversations of like, I'm going through this, and that has nothing to do with you, or like, you know, this is the way that you could help me. If I'm panicking, like, don't say these things, or like just listen or just be there. So it was like a lot of me also kind of, you know, talking about the different ways that I could be helped. So as a person with a mental illness, I think that that's very important. I think sometimes as humans, we might expect other people to just know what to do, and that's not the case. And we don't always get it right. So it's not like every time that I would go through something, like he had the perfect response or the perfect thing. No, we just kind of, you know, learned as we go. And then throughout the years, it became so much more manageable. I became so much more stable and all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of things, but also because I had this support system that knew what to do whenever I was going in crisis. So communication, for sure. I think second, and it kind of does fall into the same thing, is being open and honest about like, what do you need in the moment? Like, if I'm having a panic attack, do I need you to find solutions for me, or do I just need you to be there for me? Oftentimes, all I need is a hug, somebody to just be there, somebody to just listen, and that'll help me get through it. Other times, for example, I might text him and be like, oh my gosh, I've had the most horrible day. I like have so much anxiety. I'm crying on this or whatever. And he's like, okay, we're gonna chat about this tonight. Again, he's not a therapist, but I mean, he might as well be like, he's really good at this talking stuff. And so we'll talk about it, and he's a very like level-headed person. He's not fazed by a lot of things. So he's very much like the way that he says it's very logical, which I think has helped me a lot become like a less emotional person overall, because I've kind of like I see a calm in him that helps me not freak out over things. So that's another way. In those instances, I need somebody who's like, listen, what you're building in your head is like a big monster that's not going to happen. And if it happens, there are solutions for it, right? Like we can get out of this, or like this is not a like live or die situation. So I think that that's extremely, extremely helpful. Just having that kind of reassurance. And then also back to the communication piece. I deal with OCD. And with OCD, it's sometimes different what you need to do to help somebody than just for anxiety or maybe for depression. For OCD specifically, I look for validation. So I might say, am I a horrible person? I'm not a horrible person, right? I can't be a horrible person. Like, I would never do that. And then he used to say, like, no, 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 like, those are just thoughts. You're not a bad person. And then after I learned from therapy that this is not what we were supposed to be doing, I told him, don't validate me. Don't say anything. If I tell you about an intrusive thought, just don't say anything. Because if I go to you and look for validation, you give me validation, the monster just gets bigger. So again, communication, me speaking my needs, him listening, him being open to, something didn't work out. Maybe next time you could help me if you did this instead. And being okay. I think being accepting of each other. So, and that's really led to like such a long way. It's helped me with my recovery. It's helped me with the way I approach situations. And I think finally, to end this, acceptance and encouragement of my recovery. He has always been supportive of me going to therapy, of my psychiatrist, of medications, reminding me of my medications, making sure that I have them. If we're traveling, we have them all together. So it's like having that support system where there's no stigma on me getting help. Like sometimes I might not go to therapy for a year or a month, and then I'll need it. And that's not like a discussion like that's bad. Like there's no stigma around that. So I think that acceptance over getting help is also truly, truly important. So I hope that sharing this helps a little bit. I think overall communication in both ways is really important. And then as a person helping, being asking like, how can I help you? Do you just need me to hug you? Do you just need me to listen to you? And kind of listening and seeing how each person is different, right? I think that that's how you can be the most helpful. We won't always have the answers, and that's okay. Again, I think sometimes just being there, we don't have to have all the solutions, but just supporting through presence is so powerful. And I know that because I received that in my times of crisis, not just from my husband, but from family, from friends. So I hope that by sharing this, you might have learned something new, or hopefully it might be helpful, or at least make you feel like you're not so alone, because you're not alone. We're not alone. So many people go through this, and there are ways to be better and feel better. So if you liked this video or found it helpful, please subscribe, like it, share, and always remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and a bad day does not mean a bad life.